I'd say there's some unfairness in it. Like, for example, what if it's China put the nuclear wastewater in the ocean?
There would be
totally
much more finger pointing, definitely. I think everyone can agree that it would be a bigger news event and that there would be more outrage in Western countries.
So there's a very hot topic right now in China is how Western or foreigners look to see the situation that Japan has put their nuclear wastewater in ocean. And the Chinese says that many foreigners even don't know this news. It's not as popular as in China. And you know what happened in China right now? It's many Japanese restaurants, they have to close their business because people are worried about the ocean food safety. It's very bad there. Like some owners, they have to smash their own Japanese restaurant because people are like really worried about the Japanese food there, ocean food there. So I want to know, like, do you know? Have you read any news about it here?
Of course. Everybody knows about it, but the big news was more talking about that they were going to do it. I forget when that was, maybe 6 months ago or maybe a year ago. The big news cycle was talking about their plan to do it. I think there's been less attention to the fact that it's actually happening now. Although it is in the newspaper. You can see here actually, this is just a local small town newspaper, and it has an article about China stops buying
food from Japan, but
Right.
it's not talking about Japan put the nuclear wastewater in the ocean.
Well, that's obviously part of it, because the first sentence says they're now putting their wastewater into the ocean. So even though the title is more about Japan and China, it actually, the first sentence tells you that the water is now going into the ocean. And that it's going to be happening for another 2 or 3 weeks. So it is part of it, but yes.
So they're not talking about is it a poison or just like what the Japanese says is all clear.
Well,
Do you believe that?
the big news cycle before talked about how people hear this nuclear word and everyone says, nuclear bad, water bad, okay, can't go in the ocean. But there's less information about how dangerous it actually is and what the standards are. I was just reading that like the water that they're putting into the ocean is considered internationally to be what they call operationally safe. But the question is, who makes that? Who decides what that means?
Yeah. So
right?
you also like not really believing.
Well, here's the.
sure
Well,
about
I
it?
don't know. I'm not a nuclear physicist, so I don't really know exactly what levels are truly safe. And the question is it humans that are going to get sick? Is it the fish themselves that are going to suffer? Or is it both? Like if the fish are getting sick, then people are also going to be exposed to what the fish are exposed to by eating them, blah, blah, blah. I mean, the ocean is already a pretty dangerous and toxic place, but this is a new thing. So, I mean, the other situation is that if they don't start doing it now, there is a risk that it's going to leak and go into around the power plant. Or they might have like another disaster when the water tanks are full. So it's like...
So the point is that Japan can poison the water or it would poison itself. Is
kind
that-
of like if they don't do something now, then the water is going to escape in an uncontrolled way. Right now they're letting the water out in a controlled way. Something like if they don't do it within the next like few months, the water collected will be more than they can hold. So it's like kind of an emergency to let it go now. And that I guess they just couldn't find any other plan B.
Yeah, people are talking about like this water is not only going around Japan, it would going to the bigger ocean. And,
near China, near Japan,
near
near Fiji even, which is a famous water brand.
Many countries are around this, and the water they would go in the air and they would become rain, and rain would just share those things to anywhere.
That's possible.
It's a whole.
Although the science at that point said that at the point of precipitation and rain, the level of poison is like so low already. But still, yeah.
Quick question: well, would you trust the Japanese ocean food right now? Or you just don't trust
Probably
the ocean food from
wait.
that
Better
island?
to wait, because even this is something interesting about the U.S. They've already started reducing seafood imports specifically from the fish that are caught around where the wastewater is going to be released. So even though the U.S. is not speaking out against what Japan is doing, the same way that China and Korea are doing, they have stopped buying seafood, specifically the types of fish and whatnot that are going to be caught near where the water is going to be released. So that shows that even though they're not saying so bad, they're saying, well, okay, we're gonna not buy that fish for a while.
That's what the Chinese people talk about.
They call it the U.S. hypocrisy.
They say like they test the water, it's safe, but they actually not
and they tested
really
2
believe
fish. People are like, really? 2? That's it? You're only gonna test 2?
Good. So you
yes.
also would be worried about the Japanese seafood.
I think it would be something you want to be concerned about for sure. Yeah, you want to wait.
Also, did you notice that why this news are more popular in China and North Korea
South Korea.
and South
North
Korea?
Korea, they might not even know what's going on with that stuff. But why?
I'd say there's some unfairness in it. Like, for example, what if it's China put the nuclear wastewater in the ocean?
There would be
totally different trade.
much more finger pointing. Definitely. I think everyone can agree that it would be a bigger news event and that there would be more outrage in Western countries. The reason why most Western countries are quiet about it now is because 1, Japan is an ally. 2, the Fukushima thing was a huge disaster for them, so a lot of people did die and it was horrible. So it's like this is the aftermath of an accident. And also all Western countries are pretty far away, so people aren't really worried like it's not going to show up on my beach. China and South Korea are right there. So it's the immediate, like, this is happening like right next door compared to this is happening on the other side of the world. Let them figure it out, you know.
Good. Thanks for our information.